name is Michael of the X, and we are going to be doing a review on Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is the overall game review. Then, also today I'm going to be doing two of the separate routes. White Clouds, the part 1 for every single route, and then Verdant Wind, the Golden Deer route. I'm going to be going like this. White Clouds, Golden Deer / Burnt Wind, Azure Moon / Blue Lions, Crimson Flower / Black Eagles, Silver Snow / Black Eagles. Yeah, Black Eagles has two, if you've never played the game. And finally the DLC route to the Ashen Wolves. So, though this is the overall gameplay review, I'm separating each review into separate categories simply because I think it's just going to be more cohesive and I want to get more content out of me. Since, I've been not uploading, I haven't been uploading for a while. So, let's go ahead and start it. So, let's go ahead and start with the characters in terms of the overall gameplay. I think every single character is well balanced except for Anna. Specifically, she's one of the DLC characters, but not a Ashen Wolf DLC. She's just there. Which, it's fine. She's supposed to be a character from... she was already in the base game, she was just not playable. They just decided to add her because, why not? Which, by the way, the DLC gives off 5 different characters. Anyways, she's the only character I feel like is the worst. She's the worst unit in the game, no matter what people say, simply because that she has no supports with anyone, which, by the way, supports are what allow units to bond with each other. Which, I actually commend the game, and since I want to become a video game developer in the future, I actually might take that concept and put it into my game. By having every single unit have a support conversation with each other. And yeah. Alright, so now let's get to the map design. I think aside from aside from the paralogs, I feel like the main story maps are really good. The only paralogs I feel like are just absolutely bad are the Ash and Catherine paralog. I think that paralog is good if you go for the enemy commanders, but if you're trying to do the second objective, protect Rhea, then it's not a good paralog. Which is why I always go for defeat the enemy commander for that one, while have other units stay with Rhea. Specifically, have the main protagonist Byleth, the House Lord, and if I have the DLC available to me, Yuri, at the Ashen Wolves. I don't know why I just said Yuri specifically. Anyways, I go after all of them. And then another one off the top of my head that I think is just straight up bad is the Caspar Bersettes one. First off, Caspar Bersettes don't have any support conversations. That doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like any character who has a paralog with each other should have at least a C&B support. Now, the Ingrid and Dorothea would have, were super close to that, but then I realized last second, oh wait, they do have a support conversation. They have a C&B one, which, literally, I'm gonna get into that once I do the Black Eagles review. Anyways, I feel like any character that doesn't have a support conversation with each other... Oh yeah, another one I can think of on top of my head is the Lysithea Ferdinand one. Which, by the way, yes, I am Ferdinand von Aegir. Anyways, I honestly feel like that the Mercedes Caspar one and the Fern and Lysithea 1 are bad only because you don't have any support conversations. In fact, I honestly feel like Fern and Lysithea could have if they decided to not give them it. Another case of this is another case is Leonie Linhart, I believe, because I've never seen their support conversation ever. And if they do have one, then I'll have to watch it. But yeah. Alright, so now let's get to the let's get to the support conversations. I feel like all of them except for Cyril's are either funny, knowledgeable, or just overall a good overall good one. But the only one that I feel like is straight up bad out of all the support conversations is most of Cyril's. The Hilda Cyril one and the Lysithea Cyril one are... I love those two, despite me not liking Cyril as a character. Because we actually get to understand Cyril more than just, oh, Lady Rhea, I worship you, and all that. I hate that. I understand that he's a teenager, but I wish he had talked more than just Lady Rhea. I'm saying Lady Rhea since that's what he says. But those two paralogs, he barely talks about Rhea. And that's why I like those paralogs. Pretty much any support. Wow, I'm becoming dumber and dumber. Anyways, there should be more support conversations with Cyril where he doesn't talk about Rhea. Those are the only two on top of my head I can think of. Though hey, at least we got those. Because I know the Byleth one, he only talks about Rhea. Well, like the B support, he doesn't say Rhea's name, but he's doing a job for Rhea, which makes sense. And then the other ones, yeah, they're either okay, or meh. The one that I do like where he talks about Rhea, though, is Seth's support with him. Because Seth tries getting him to acknowledge that he has potential and he's not just he shouldn't just be a Rhea follower. I really like that one. Alright. That's a bad example for a character. Well, that's a good example for a character with bad support conversations. Now let's get to a character with really good support conversations. That character, I'm going to use Lysithea for this. Lysithea, she's a character that she's one of the only 2 units with 2 crests. She has a major crest of Gloucester and a minor crest of I always forget which one Catherine has. Well, she has a major crest and a minor crest. And she wants to get rid of at least one of her crests, and at best, both of her crests. And a lot of her support conversations, well, I can think of 3 support conversations where at their ending, she managed to get rid of both of her crests, or at least one of them. I'll go ahead and do the 2 that she gets rid of both of them, as far as I know, and the one where she only gets rid of one. Byleth, the main protagonist, and Linhart. She gets rid of both, I believe, inside of both of these. I know for a fact Byleth, but I'm not so sure about Linhart. While Hanneman, one of the other professors, one that is very old, he helps her get rid of her 2 crests. Then, let's go ahead and get into the... While other ones, such as the ones with Lorenz or Hilda, Lorenz, we see her get really mad at Lorenz for being like, oh, I need your help in order to make sure that the alliance keeps going. Which he does that for both Hilda and Cynthia. I don't know why I said both, but anyways. And we see her get mad during that one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna quickly take a quick detour from Lysithea and go talk about the Lorenz Leone support, because I love that one. Despite me not liking Lorenz and me not liking pre-time skip Leone, but liking her time skip version. Yes, there is a time skip at the game. I'll talk about it a bit. And yeah. Anyways, is it the characters that I just... Oh, this parallel... Okay, if I say parallel again, then I'm actually going to be mad at myself. Anyways, this support conversation has... Hold on. This support conversation with Lorenz and Leone is just top-notch. Since Leone is one of those characters that doesn't like the noble idea. She thinks most nobles are selfish people who, and are just overall bad. Okay. Anyways. And she thinks that the nobility system is just straight up bad. She doesn't want to get rid of it, but she thinks it's bad. Lorenz is a noble character, while Leone is a commoner. Lorenz has the idea that commoners should respect nobles, while nobles help commoners. But Leone doesn't really vibe with that, so even though but this is one of the few ones where Lorenz, towards the end of it, genuinely calls someone a friend despite being a commoner. And he is someone who thinks that he has to marry a noble in order for his line to succeed. In fact, the Lorenz-Mercedes paralogue, support actually highlights this. On their C support, Lorenz says that he has to marry a noble woman so the nobility can prosper. Even if he falls in love with a commoner, like Leone. Which, as soon as you get their A support, I believe, I really love their conversation whenever they're next to each other, whenever they're eating. Lorenz and... Lorenz is... Leone's just like... I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but Lorenz just pretty much says, "Stop, you're actually like my mother." Seriously, I have all the... seriously, I just love that support. Anyways, let's go ahead and do... okay, let's get back to Lysithea. Lysithea is one of those characters inside of video games that either brings out the best of people or brings out the worst of people. But she's one of those characters that it actually kind of makes sense because she's the youngest character aside from Cyril. Well, she's the youngest playable character aside from Cyril. Cyril's, once you get him, he's 14. Lysithea, if I remember correctly, is 17. While every single other character... Wait, no, she's 16. Every single other character is... Well, aside from Mercedes, is either 17 through 20 or... Well, 21. Mercedes is 25. She's the oldest student character in the whole game. Unless if you count the DLC, which then Baltus is that. Because Baltus is 28. And she wants everyone to see her more than just a child. And wants to be seen as a mature person. But people like Claude, the House Lord for the Golden Deer, tease her. But Claude just does it to... but to be fair, Claude does tease everyone. And he's my favorite one of the... if we go based off the Kree time skip, I love Claude more than Edelgard and Dimitri. But if we're going based off time skip, Dimitri number 1, Edelgard 2, Claude 3. Claude is only number 3 because we don't get to learn anything about him aside from him being Almiran. He wants to take down the walls of Fuldun. And that's it. Oh yeah, and he has a respect for Cyril since Cyril's a fellow Almiran. I'll go ahead and just give a quick analysis on the Almirans. The Almirans are the neighbor, one of the few neighbors of Fuldun. And they're kind of bad neighbors because they want to, take Fuldun land. And they're trying to get Fuldun pushed back. And make sure that Fuldun cannot have that land. So they can eventually take over Fuldun. But there's a noble named Holst and some of his soldiers who stop it. Which is actually the main focus point of both the Edelgard paralogue and the Hilda Cyril paralogue. There, I said it correct for once. Yay! Anyways, I just need to quickly bring that up so you guys understand what an Almiran is. Now let's get to... Seriously. But for a character like Cyril, Cynthia brings the best out of Cyril. Like I mentioned. She's the only character, aside from, again, Cetus and Hilda, who make him talk less about Rhea and more about something else. And yeah, that's why I like their support. Now let's get to... What? Alright, so let's go ahead and get into Gameplay 2.0. Gameplay 2.0... The map design. I know I already talked about the map design, but this is more in depth. All the maps are either defeat the enemy commander, which are my favorite type of maps, rout the enemy, my least favorite type of map, defend ally units, my second favorite, since I actually do like defending as long as they're actually good. Which is why I feel like Rhea is, on the Catherine Rhea paralogue, is good if you're trying to get Catherine in. Or if you're just doing the Protect Rhea part. It's good, but also bad, but also good. Alright. But other ones such as Duke Gunrail from the Yuri Constance paralogue. He's weak on Maddening. On hard, he's okay. And on normal, I never played normal. I went for hard immediately. I need to ask someone else for their thoughts on him on normal. Which, by the way, I completed Maddening before, but I'm using a completely different save file now. Sadness. Anyways. Now let's get to the DLC. Which, I just want to mention that DLC maps are either really good, the new ones, or bad for the reused maps. The reused maps are just straight up bad. And the final boss of the DLC is incredibly good in terms of concept. In terms of execution, he's okay. That's all I'm going to talk about the DLC any further. And, yeah. Now, character analysis. All the characters have something in-depth about them aside from Cyril. No, aside from Cyril and Anna. Every single character actually has a backstory and it makes sense for why most of them are at Garrick Muck. Even Cyril has a backstory. He was saved by... Rhea chose to save the Amiran kids out of her own will, and not because she's someone who looks up to the goddess. So Cyril wants to serve Rhea for the rest of his life. But of course he can't do that. Especially in all the routes where Rhea dies, because Rhea dies in when Crimson Flower, but he also dies there, as far as I know. And I also believe he died... I believe Rhea dies in Azure Moon as well. I know if you choose Rhea to marry you in the... I know if you choose Rhea to marry you in Silver Snow, she doesn't die, but he becomes a student instead of serving Rhea. And yeah. Oh yeah. Another thing, every single character except for the Church of Sarahs are all your students. I'm trying to think of another character who isn't your student, but you can still play as them. I think that's it. Because the Church of Sarahs, because Anna's a Church of Sarahs member, technically. The Ashen Wolves are your students if you recruit them. If not, then they're not your students. And yeah. I'm trying to think of another thing. Oh yeah, here's one thing I have to pinpoint that I don't like about the game. All the enemy commander maps on Maddening, so especially the Chapter 13 one, where you only have Byleth as a House Lord or Cetus, because Cetus is not a House Lord, I don't care what people say. Unless if you're playing Crimson Flower, this isn't the case on Crimson Flower. It's just straight up bad. Chapter 13 on any route aside from Crimson Flower is not tested at all. I wish that they actually properly tested that map on Maddening. Because it's like, oh, we're going to go ahead and raise up the AI and level. Done. That chapter, I couldn't beat it for a long while. Same with Chapter 14. Chapter 14, I literally had to restart my file in order to beat it. Maddening sucks. If you want to do Maddening, make sure you grind. Because the only characters that get a natural EXP is the House Lord and Byleth. Every single other character gets it's literally a 0.8 experience. This is how it normally is in the game. 100% EXP, but now it's only 80%. If they're adjacent to Byleth, then it's 100% again, but still. Adjacent is whenever Byleth is helping out in terms of the attack. Not where Byleth is...
Yeah, I gotta unplug you again for a minute.
Okay.
Probably be like 10 minutes.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, this is the adjacent unit. Bias literally has to be attacking alongside the unit who's also attacking, so pretty much take advantage of that. Bias does not have to be attacking as long as Bias in the attack range. And it will work. Though, yeah. Also, make sure you don't do solo runs in Maddening unless if you're extremely good at the game. Trust me, I tried it. It's bad. I tried doing it with Claude. I put into Wyvern Rider so we can get the flying boost. But no. Like, only one time I accept Byleth get into combat is whenever he has to. and there's no way for me to avoid it. Because that's my type of solo runs. Whenever a unit is forced into battle, they can get into combat, but they cannot move on the map. Which is what I do all the time. And, yeah. That's the review for the gameplay portion of the game. Tomorrow, I'll go ahead and... Alright, this will be uploaded a day after I'm done recording this. And then that very same day, I'm also going to go ahead and record my White Clouds review. So yeah. Look forward to that. Like I said, I'm keeping my promise in terms of uploading videos more often. So yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.